All right, so we're saying the speed of which things will happen is relative to the strength of the intensity of your desire, the effort you put in, and how big a thing it is. Okay? But big or small doesn't matter. Now, what's nice is when you do it with small things and you get them, it gives you a little encouragement also. So do it for things, but always keep your chief aim for your life in mind. So when you have a chief aim for your life, then you have a little goal, something for today, tomorrow, next year. Does that new little goal fit in harmony with the big goal, or is it contradictory to it? Right? You have to be careful. Don't pick little goals that are contrary to the big goal, the life goal, right? So it's better, like if I have a 2-level house, I need to build a staircase, I build, one step at a time, right? I don't build a step, and then a ramp, which I'd have to slide up and couldn't make steps, right? You have to build everything that's reaching to the goal. Now, why? Okay, so now we have the law of accident, right? The law of the 3 forces and the magnetic center. If you do not have any strong magnetic center for anything, the law of accident will bring rubbish into your life. Pins and needles. So this is another reason why it is so important to have a magnetic center, a chief aim for your life, because otherwise you just ruled by the law of accident your entire life and just any rubbish comes to you. Now, sometimes they're good things. You might win the lottery, or you could be like the guy who prays every day, every week. He goes to church, and even every night he prays, God, let me win the lottery. Please, God, let me win the lottery. And he prays and prays and prays. And he was so sincere and so focused on his prayer for so long. God spoke to him, and he heard a voice. And God spoke and said, buy a ticket. No? I went to win the lottery, but he never bought a ticket. It's like, yes, I'll let you win the lottery, but at least do something. Buy a ticket. Okay. Well, you don't have lottery tickets here? No? You do or don't? Oh. Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway. So if we don't, then any rubbish will come to you, I would often find money on the ground, and I'd be walking with other people who don't see it, and then I see the money and pick it up. It happens to me so often because the more money I have, it's like the last line of one of my poems. The poem is called Real Love. The last line is, real love is wanting to have all the money in the world so you have that much more to give. So I love money because then I can do more things, right? So I'd always see money. And other people would walk over it, So and when people say, oh, all I have is bad luck, only bad things happen to me, I have such bad luck, everything is a problem, everything is a disaster, because you don't have a strong enough magnetic center for a chief aim for your life or the goals that'll be required to get you there. Like you wanted that job, but what's the point of having that job? What was the point of getting that job? To what?
For getting the job.
You remember you said every day you tried to get the job, and then on your last day you got the job, right? Why did you want that job?
Because I've always wanted to build a business, but I never thought I had the experience and expertise to do it. That's why I wanted a specific type of job.
So what? But that job was leading you to somewhere.
Yes.
See? So that is leading to something bigger. Right? And that's what we have to have. We need goals that lead us to something bigger. If you don't have a big goal, if you don't have any goals, then the law of accident is going to blow your way. You cannot fly an airplane without having a destination because you eventually run out of fuel, crash, burn, and die. Right? You must have a destination. And your destination could be that which is a lot of my flying was done that way. I just want to go up, fly around, look at the mountains, look at the trees, look at nature, and then come back to my airport. And that's my day, just going out. Like you'd go for a drive, I take my airplane and go for a flight. All right? So, but my destination was clear, so that when I would go fly around the mountains, like in the autumn when the leaves change in Canada, I mean, it's the most beautiful thing. Every color in the rainbow in the leaves, the mountains are just so colorful. It's beautiful. So I would just go up, fly around the mountains, look at the leaves, and then go back. Now, if I didn't have my final destination, which happened to be my departure point, then I kept flying without thinking. As time passes, the fuel runs out. So I always know, even though my flight has no destination, it's just fly wherever I feel like it. But I know so that's the little magnetic centers, right? The little goals. There was none. It was just fly around. But my chief aim for my life is get back to land safely at my airport. I always have that in my mind, even while I'm enjoying life. Just sightseeing, okay? So even if you're not working today on your big life goal, it's always in your mind so that you always stay focused and your life doesn't get wasted. See what I mean? So I can go out for a walk without any purpose whatsoever, go for a flight, have fun without any, but because I have a chief aim for my life, and a specific goal, a destination, ultimately, that kept me safe in my daily journey. Keeps you focused, anchored, so your life stays on path instead of getting lost. It's like the story of this man. He's a spiritual seeker, and he's seeking very diligently for God, and he's a wanderer. So he just travels and travels and travels around the world to trust in God and see where he's led. And one day he's sitting at the tea shop. He sees a tea shop. Okay, let me sit down and have a cup of tea. And he sits there. He's in a strange town, a little village. And this old man comes to him. It's, oh, you're new here? Yeah. And he starts chatting. And they start chatting. They have a nice time. And the old man says, so where are you staying? He says, I didn't know. He says, come, you'll stay at home with me. And he says, and are you single? Yes. Oh, I have a nice daughter. And they're talking all these things. And before you know it, the guy goes home with him. He meets the daughter. He gets married. He has a life, 6 kids. And 25 years have passed. And he completely forgot about his path. And that's what happens when you don't have a chief aim for your life or specific magnetic center goals, is that life just happens and you grow old and die and you miss everything, okay? So don't let life bring you pins and needles. Plan your life out, plan your goals very clearly, and then you'll start to see the different things that happen. And then when they happen, watch what's active, what's passive, and how can you could be passive or active and the neutralizing force at the same time, right? It's not that you can't be more than one force. You can be neutralizing and either one of the forces. That's how we control our life. We see where we are and what needs to be done to get us where we want to be, right? I taught my student in Colorado, when I had the school in Colorado, it was all couples. It was very nice. All couples. And, but you know how it's all girls? Normally it's all girls. Very rare you have men, very few men. In that one, they were all couples, but it was only the women who wanted to come. The men came because the wives made them. Right? So I said, you know, when you're having a fight and you're arguing, when you realize this is just buffers going nowhere, all you have to do is go, "Row, row, 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 row." Just bark like a dog, or go, do something completely stupid, so bizarre that they can't stay angry. So you're in that argument, but you become the neutralizing force because you are now becoming more awake. And you see, oh, it's just buffers going back and forth. This is not going to get anywhere. And I can't even control myself to be more logical. So I will become the neutralizing force and break this argument for both active and passive. All right? Try it. Whenever you're having an argument with anyone, and it's really, you see it's not going anywhere, or the argument is, just go, something really bizarre. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, I know, it works. It's great. But the funny is, I do things like, where was it, last night I was out, or yesterday in the afternoon, something. So I ordered coffee. So I'm at the cafe, and I said, I want a single latte, okay, and please make it very, very hot. Okay, sir, yes, very hot, and with ice. And he goes, okay, sir, with ice. and then it took him a minute, and then, wait a minute. And then he broke out laughing. Okay? Put in effort to do things like this. It's small, it's simple, but you are going to be amazed how it changes everything in your life, because you are now worthy of living. Remember the other lectures, we said we must create something of beauty every day. We must change people's lives by being the active force to break them, like, server and customer, right? You're active, they're passive. They're used to, being miserable because people are so nasty, right? So you become the active and neutralizing to break their mood. It doesn't have to be something between the two of you, but if someone's in a bad mood, do something to break their mood. Okay? All right. And remember that every day that passes is past. That's one less day you have to achieve your goal. Right? That's one less day you have to achieve your goal. So you don't waste time. Okay, clear? Good? All right. Okay, now, here is where you will waste your life. Okay? This is called active laziness. This principle is active laziness. I need to do something, but what can I get busy with to avoid doing what I need to do? Right, so you all know this one without me even telling you, huh? The video is still going now? I hope so, okay. I know I should meditate, but, I should wash my hair, I should clean my shoes, I should do this, I should do that. There's, I really feel like pizza right now, or, there's so much paperwork to do. And of course, how did the paperwork pile up? So you had inventory to be active laziness, right? You don't do things, you don't wash the dishes, you don't do the laundry, you don't do the paperwork, so that there is an inventory of excuses that are prepared to fulfill the active laziness, so that anytime you have nothing else to do but to do what's important, you have a reason not to. Okay? And I love the chocolate cake. Oh, got to eat it before it goes stale, definitely. Yeah. Right? So, watch now for active laziness. Whenever you have something to do, make sure you do it and don't let yourself get distracted. So this principle works in combination with buffers, right? Because buffers are always justifications and excuses with the fragment that changes its path. So when you see, you'll see the fragment, you may not notice the fragment changed. You may not notice the buffers to justify its change, but you will see that I'm doing this which doesn't need to be done in place of what should be done. Okay? So this is another way we keep ourselves, wasting our life, that you can use to catch fragmentation and buffers, because you can see it connected. Okay? So that's it. We're done. Finished. Right? Yeah, that's it. That's the last principle to teach you now. And, as I said, there's a lot more to go deeper and deeper and deeper. A lot more courses, a lot more to learn. But this is gives you the biggest course. So you can really work with yourself. So you text me, email me all the time. Any questions, anytime you want to talk. It's not ending here. And then, one day, I don't know, I'll come back. What?
What's your email address?
You have my email? Yeah. Well, you have my WhatsApp?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So WhatsApp me and ask for my email. Can do that too. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, email, WhatsApp. You have the Mauritius WhatsApp number. Yeah, that's the one on the group. Yeah. I keep that one. And yeah, and just see how it goes. But remember, it can take you 6 months to see a difference. Even though there will be a difference every day, the changes are so subtle and small, and you have to battle all the years you've been alive of being programmed to be stupid through no fault of your own. So it takes time. So you have to say, even 1 year, you have to accept, I will do this even for a year before I see a result. You have to be willing to accept that. And don't give up. Don't give up. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, yeah, that's the whole course. So now you can ask all your questions and talk and say anything you want. Here, let's leave this picture to be more inspiring. You know, only 23 years old, I think, something like that. 23. Imagine, at 12 years old, I had to buy my own shoes. I went days with no food. And at 23, not only I could fly a plane, but I owned a very expensive aerobatic sport airplane. You can do anything you want to do. And by the way, when I started to learn to fly, I was scared of heights. I was petrified of heights. But remember, whatever your fear is, do something to conquer it. So I was scared of heights, became a pilot. Yeah. Yeah. And then I learned how to repair it, maintain it. Yeah. You can do anything. Huh? Do I have to slap you, tickle you? I don't mind, either one.
I have a question. What are the best ways to keep people dumb?
The what?
Best ways to keep them dumb, because you get to control them.
The best ways to keep people dumb. Who do you want to keep dumb and why? No, if you want a good answer, I need to know, yeah, who do you want to make stay dumb? You or somebody else or what?
Other people. So the best way to control people is keeping them dumb. So I want to use that as a marketing strategy. How do I use that as a marketing strategy?
And the purpose, what's the purpose?
I'm starting a company that will do lottery. Interesting. I need to keep people playing. One of the best ways to do that is to keep them dumb. How do I keep them playing the game?
How to keep them playing the game? Well, then the game has to hypnotize them so that they don't wake up. Because if you want to control somebody, it's easier if they're asleep, right? So if you want them to keep playing the game, then the game has to keep them asleep. That's basically how the games work, right? The game just makes you so enthralled in the game that you have no idea what's going on around you. And so you're asleep to the world and you're living in this game, this dream. So it has to be that interesting that, yeah, they fall asleep to all their other obligations. It's the way Las Vegas works. You know, gambling casinos? So what they do is there's no clocks in Las Vegas. You never know what time it is. And all the casinos have the bright lights all the time. And there's constantly servers walking around with food and drinks. So you don't get distracted by being hungry. You don't get distracted by being thirsty. You have no idea that it's the middle of the night or 3 a.m. So they keep you asleep so that you stay focused on the games, on the gambling. Yeah. Yeah, and if you make money based on that, you now have to give me money because I just showed you how to make money. Oh, that part she didn't like. No, I'm teasing you. I'm kidding.
It's okay as
Yeah.
long as you invest.
Okay. Good. I'm teasing you. But yeah, that's another very important principle. Okay. It's called pay your debts. I learned that from my martial arts teacher. Um, in life, everything that comes, remember, nothing is one-sided in life. Everything you learn, who taught you to tie your shoelaces? Who taught you the ABCs, basic stuff? Everything you know, somebody taught you, right? You must pay your debts. So that could be now as an adult, because as a child you didn't think anything. But everything you get, you must give some appreciation, which could be a thank you note. It could be a chocolate, flowers, a bottle of wine, or whatever it is. Everything you have to pay your debts. Make sure you give appreciation as quick as possible. But one of my students in New Zealand, I told her this, and you write a note. If you don't know the person, I mean, you can't find the person or they're dead or something like that, write a thank you note and just put it in your drawer. Because if you get without paying your debt, subconsciously it builds guilt. And either guilt or destroys your self-esteem, because if you take without giving, then why should anyone give you for what you give them? Right? Because if you treat people worthlessly as if they're worthless, then you effectively are worthless as well, because that's your attitude. Make sense? Okay. So everything you got to pay your debt. So she wrote her thank you note to this auntie. She's from Fiji, Indian from Fiji, but living in New Zealand. So there was this auntie she hasn't seen in 10 years. No idea where the auntie is, how to contact her. So I said, just write a note, put it in your drawer. So, okay. We meet every week, that school, every week. So she did that. The next week she says, you're not going to believe what happened. What happened? So I did what you said. I wrote a thank you, really sincere, emotional thank you note to my auntie. I put it in my drawer. And 2 days later, that auntie contacts me, found me on Facebook because she's coming for a trip to New Zealand and she heard I live here. So she found me on Facebook so she'd have someone to visit when she's in New Zealand so I can say thank you in person. So there's the magnetic center. When you sincerely want to give and show appreciation for everything, you know, that's like a Jew has to make a blessing on everything. When you pee, you make a blessing. When you put your pants on, when you eat anything, you know, to show this deep appreciation for everything you get, mixed with a magnetic center that wants to be free. All the principles combine, and that made this auntie who she hasn't heard from in over 10 years all of a sudden decide to come to New Zealand and look for her and contact her. Because it's a combination, right? Not just the trip, but to think of her niece and to think of how can I find her and to find her. So her thank you note made her auntie do all these things because that's how the laws work. All right? So the more you do that, think of everybody in your past, everything you've learned, anyone who helped you in any way, and make some form of acknowledgement, appreciation, gratitude, pay your debt. Understand, debt is not just financial, right? You'll see how you feel so differently in even a week or two. Yeah, because the guilt is big holes in the bowl, right? I mean, if I were to redesign this bowl, guilt would be this big hole in the middle. So much goes there. And the worst part of it is you don't even know you're guilty. You don't even know you feel guilty. Excuse me. You don't know you feel guilty because it's normal. Oh, it's normal that your teachers taught you this. It's normal that your friends would help you or whatever it is. So you are told it's normal, so you don't acknowledge that you need to show your appreciation. And then you're just another one of the sleeping human animals that serve the purpose for whatever we're created for. So if you want to wake up and get out, you have to know where the energy goes, and that's through guilt. Guilt is through getting something without paying for it or acknowledging or some way. So that's a very important exercise as well. Pay your debts. And of course, you know, going forward, always know where to pay your debts. Yeah. Yeah. So you know, people take advice for how to make a business, but then they don't succeed because they take free advice, the lawyer, right? A quick one. Everybody do that for lawyers? You meet someone, oh, you're a lawyer. Oh, you're a lawyer. I have a quick one for you. Can you just answer this? You know, you don't need to charge me. It's just a quick one, right? Yeah. So be careful what you do. Never take without giving. Always offer. Like when I call a lawyer for some advice, even if it's a quick one, I always, like some lawyers I know, I need something, I always start with saying, now I'm going to pay you for this, but it's a quick one, just can you tell me this? But I will pay. Always start with, I will pay, I will do, all right? Start to give more because then you will feel you're worth more. Remember, self-respect is 100% based on the respect you give others. So if you want more to come to you, you must feel worthy. To feel worthy, you have to have very good self-respect. To have good self-respect, you have very good respect for others, which is why we smile at all the servers and the security guards and everybody. Respect everybody. And remember Confucius, don't strive to be respected, rather strive to be worthy of respect. And that is why I succeeded so well, because I knew I am good, and if I screw up, I will fix it for free. I have always respected myself because I know I'm good. I take responsibility for all my actions, and I will do the best job I can do. So because I had such good self-respect, everyone trusted me. And if they trust you, you get more in life. But as far as finding a man, well, you've got to be lucky to find a good man. That's not so easy. But at least you're worthy of one. So you never know what can happen. Yeah. But for sure, everything else in life you will get. And especially as a parent. Because your kid only understands what they see. So your actions will show the child how to behave. If you're lucky. I mean, sometimes they go wrong anyway. That's why I didn't want kids. It's a gamble. But the beginning of being a good parent is making yourself a good person. Right? So that's important.
I have a question. When you say you need to pay, is your respect to the right person? What do you mean by that? So I've got teachers that have taught me, is it me paying respect to them, or how do I do that if I can't contact them? What do you mean by that?
If you can't contact them, well, then you just write a note yourself and burn it or put it in your drawer or something. Did it stop? But it's okay. I mean, we're just talking now anyway. It's still running. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, you write a note if you can find them. Because when you write a note, you want to tell your teacher thank you. So if you really sincerely want to do that and you write the note, that's a magnetic center so that you can transmit your gratitude. So then like the Fijian Indian girl in New Zealand, you never know how you might bump into them in the street. You see? So you do that and then you want to say thank you because you know, anyway, you have to figure out how you can thank everybody. So you make your list from your earliest days or even before the days you can remember, meaning like 1 year old or whatever it is, okay? And who taught you something so you can function in this world. It's not your mother who fed you. That doesn't count. She's got no choice. That's what a mother has to do, all right? So she fed you, there's no choice. But somebody else taught you something. So everything you know, somebody taught you. So you just figure out who to say thank you to. Yeah. It's a very good exercise in humility and developing true appreciation. And if you know these mantras, I have loving appreciation for everybody who helped me. I love everybody. I appreciate everybody. No, it's worthless. That's like the easy way out, right? So you've got to list and know each and every person, each and everything. Put in effort. Because if you don't put in effort, you don't deserve anything, right?
On that point, I think thanking people it has to be specific to every situation, because
Yeah.
there are people who you will send a thank you note, there's someone you buy lunch, there's someone you invite somewhere, and then I have a story for when I was young, between the ages of 6 and 8, I had a teacher called Mrs. Boo, and Mrs. Boo was my favorite teacher. I've never forgotten her. She was one of the people who molded me into the person I am. She was so kind and so loving and just so inspiring. And all she ever wanted for us as her students was to make something of ourselves. That was all the thanks that she would have needed from any of us. So, I mean, she taught me for 3 years, and then I moved on to the rest of school. We lost touch. I didn't see her for maybe around 15 years or so. But when I was graduating from university, I sent my mom to go and find Mrs. Boo and invite her to my graduation party. And I've never seen someone that happy to have someone whom she taught in childhood invite her for their graduation party because I'd made some new. She was so proud of me. That was all the things she could have ever needed. So
Exactly.
I feel like it's very specific to every situation. It doesn't have to be like thank you. It's just you need to learn the kind of interaction you have with them and what would make the most impact for them.
Yeah, but you gave her what she wanted.
Yes.
You said, look what I became. Thank you. Look at me now. Yeah, everything is different. Like in business, if you're a freelancer, you do a job, you expect to be paid, right? Because you did the job. No, you don't. You have to thank the customer for giving you a job for the opportunity to make money. And that's one of the things I taught one of my students in New Zealand. And the guy makes 5 times more than his competitors. And in his industry, he has the reputation, the nickname, the Candy Man. Because every job, I said, every job, you have an invoice to give the client, you give it with a gift. Chocolates, wine, whatever. Every invoice gets delivered with a gift and an appreciation that says, thank you for giving me this job so I had a chance to make money. And he got jobs basically because people loved to work with someone who said thank you and appreciated it rather than pay me. Right? And that's how he built a big factor in building his business. So everything is relative. If it's business, then it's something, you're getting money, you give them something material. Right? Because if you just say thank you, you get a Christmas card that says thank you for being our client. You throw it in the garbage and say, that's all I get. You know? My late partner, she was a corporate accountant. So the accounting team, the manager of the team would get big bonuses, lots of money. And everyone in the company at the lower levels got a chocolate fish. You know, like a chocolate in the shape of they get a chocolate. And everyone hated the company. We work like hell. The management get big dollars as a bonus, and we get a chocolate fish. Right? So, is the gratitude sincere? Is it appropriate? In your case, yes. She taught to see kids have a better life. So you said, thank you for your influence. Look at my life. Right? But you invited her was saying thank you to show her. See? So yeah, everything depends. It doesn't have to cost you any money to give your thanks. Everything has to be appropriate. Yeah. But fitting to whatever it is. Okay. What else? That's it. Okay, you're all enlightened masters. You're all gonna float out the window and yeah.
During our second class, you said something about people having souls or not.
A soul?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about looking in someone's eyes and deciding whether or not they have a soul.
Yeah.
How do you decide that? Like,
Ah.
how can I look at her and decide she has no soul? She
Well,
does.
that's when you develop your being so you're not as much egoistic. So when you become more clear in your mind that you don't have fixed opinions, where you're not looking and thinking, ooh, she has a nose ring, so she's a hippie, not trustworthy, or whatever, any of these kind of thoughts. You remember Hamim? We ponder, we don't think. So as long as you look at someone without thinking by things you see and analyzing your opinion of their hair, their earrings, their makeup, bless you, whatever it is, and you just look and listen. Look and listen without thinking. So it's like the pondering instead of thinking. And then you'll end up with a feeling. Yeah. So that takes time. Yeah. And it's not, I wouldn't say they don't have a soul, but it's like, you know, the street beggar, they found him dead of starvation in America, and he had $10,000 on the inside of the jacket. So some rich guy felt pity on him, gave him his jacket, and he never thought to look in the pockets. So he just put the jacket on and didn't realize he had all this money in the pocket, all right? So it's as good as not having it, correct? So many people don't have a soul by virtue of they are so lost into their own hedonism, their own selfish pleasures, their own laziness, that they've completely lost touch with any sense of a spiritual value, of any sense that we're more than just this human life. And so it's as good as dead. It's as good as not there, because they never do it. I mean, the person who just drives around on the motorbike, robbing people, stealing from people, and he's very happy with his life. Okay, maybe there's a soul that keeps his body alive, but it's as if he has no soul, because he doesn't care who he hurts, as long as he gets what he wants in the laziest way, right? So that's what I mean by some people have no soul. And so those we don't care, we don't spend time with, we don't talk to. Put all your energy to people who have some level of, there's something there that feels, some emotion. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. But it's up to you. What you become is what you can do. I mean, could you go into my airplane and fly it? No, because you don't have the training. So now if you go and get trained, then yes, you can get in the plane and go flying. So you're asking, how do you know to tell if someone has a soul or not? Well, train your being so that you can be able to see and connect on a deeper level with other people. And then you'll have the ability. Yeah. Get at least a few pieces of the vessel put back together. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. If it doesn't make sense, then don't believe it. Don't even follow it. Everything has to make sense. You know the saying, as above, so below, right? So if something makes no sense to your logical, intellectual mind in a practical way in this world, then it doesn't fit in a spiritual or any world beyond. It's not going to help you. So everything has to make sense in order for it to be valid, or for you to trust it as being valid. Then you work with it, right? It's like Deepak Chopra. You know Deepak Chopra? Yeah. Okay. In Texas, they call him Deep Pockets Chopra, because he's so rich from all his worthless talk. If you ever listen to this guy, he rambles on. None of it makes sense. None of it is valid. And he's been on panels with experts, and they say, you string a bunch of big words together to sound like you're intelligent and you know what you're talking about, but none of that made any sense or is correct. But that's how he gets the big following. And I've seen other people do that. They talk absolute rubbish so that the students or the people in the audience feel, he's so smart, I'm just so dumb, I don't understand him. So he makes them think he's smarter than them because they can't understand what he's saying, but really he doesn't say anything of value, right? So if it doesn't make sense, don't admire or respect the person or the teaching. Everything has to be logical and practical, that you can apply it in your day-to-day life to reach your goal. And if it isn't, leave it go. Yeah. Yeah. That's the best. Otherwise, you're overwhelmed with a whole bunch of New Age rubbish. And you have all your wonderful beliefs and all your idea of, ooh, the energies are so good and all of this, and you waste your life floating around in all these airy-fairy foo-foo things. All right? Strictly logical. You have a logical mind, use it. It's there for a reason. Make everything practical. Right? Okay?
You said to her when she asked about something about keeping people down in her new business, right? But first, shouldn't she have to hook people in?
She asks a small question about a business situation, so she got a small answer.
So obviously she knows how to hook people.
I don't know. Are you rich?
How does she get us interested?
I mean,
can give an example maybe of gambling in the sense of sports.
yeah.
Say like football. I'm not an addict. I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, yeah.
But for them, say to hook me into that, I must love football.
No, not true.
Not necessarily.
Yes, you might, but what they hook you with, it's gambling, right?
Yeah.
Easy money, laziness and greed.
Hope is what we said.
Yeah.
We said you hope.
Sorry.
We said you hope.
Oh, you're selling hope.
Hope. And hope is based on laziness and greed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
So it's a matter of buying like a ticket, like over the counter or something, such a lottery. You said something to do with lottery, right?
Yes and no. So it depends how you decide to go to market with your product.
Okay.
So it can be an online ticket, it can be a physical ticket. Yeah,
Mhm.
it can be. I don't know. So many ways you can choose to go to market.
All you have to do to know how to control a human being is learn the 7 deadly sins. You know the 7 deadly sins? Yes, no? No? Yes? I mean, it's a very Christian thing, isn't it? The 7 deadly sins. But you Google it, get the 7 deadly sins. And those are a human's weakness. So you watch for those sins and you like greed, lust, gluttony. I don't know what they all are. I'm perfect, I have no sin. Joke, Mara, joking. But yeah, you look for that and then you know how you can control people based on what they want. The sins are weaknesses, basically. You know, there's no such thing as sin. Sin is just, you screwed up. Try again, do it better next time. But those are the human weaknesses. So if you want to control someone, you play on the weakness. You need to learn them and eradicate them in yourself so no one can prey on you. Yeah. So, yeah, everything, the whole marketing. Do you know, have you heard of Madison Avenue? Okay, so marketing was invented, like modern marketing was invented in advertising companies on Madison Avenue. It's a street in New York City. And the person who started the whole thing was Sigmund Freud's nephew. You know Sigmund Freud?
Yeah.
Right? The first one who became psychotherapy, invented psychotherapy. He developed how the human mind works. He taught his nephew. His nephew took that to New York and got into marketing. And he said, I know how we can really sell products. And he used those psychology, the weakness of the human mind, and turned it in a way to manipulate people to get them to buy stuff. So everything is about the weakness of the human mind and personality. Greed, laziness, the need of companionship. I want to be happy when life is miserable. Now, if life was wonderful, they'd never sell us anything. But everything you buy is to make your life happier and better and more efficient and more fun. But if life was wonderful as it is, you wouldn't buy stuff. So you see why the world is designed to make you miserable. Because the world is based on economy. Economy means selling stuff. So I can only sell stuff. Like, you couldn't teach people yoga to heal their body if everyone was in perfect health and felt great. Right? I mean, you've got to be in pain to need a doctor. You've got to be in, stiff or whatever to need yoga or anything. Everything you go for is to alleviate a pain. If there's no pain, there's no need to alleviate it and do or buy or whatever. So you have to know that everything you do is to compensate for some pain. Now the question is it a natural pain or is it an taught pain, an imposed pain, right? So there's natural pain, hunger, okay, physical pain. Those are natural pains. Yoga keeps me young and flexible, great, okay. But then there's the other pain of, everyone has an iPhone and I feel left out. So now the need of companionship is everyone has that. If I don't, they won't like me. So the pain of the need of companionship makes me buy the more expensive things so that I fit into that group where I get admired by people. I really don't give a damn about the phone. I buy what I like because I think they give the best service and it's a good product. Okay, but I'm actually been places with my phone and people say, ooh, is that an iPhone? Ooh, which model is it? Like, who cares? But it matters to people. And so if the three of us are in an elevator and you're just standing there and I've got my phone and somebody says to me, ooh, is that an iPhone? Ooh, wow, ooh, that's nice. And they give me attention. You're going to learn, I need to get an iPhone so I get attention. You see? This is how we're all manipulated. So by being awake, you'll be able to see through the laws where you're getting manipulated without you realizing it, so that you no longer have to succumb to the manipulation and work so hard to buy more expensive things to feed your need of companionship, instead of just going directly to let me be with people who we all have the same chief aim. So you should all have each other's numbers. And you become the real friends because your chief aim is the same. Now you can develop true companionship and true friendship and all of this and not be so alone. And that's one of the main important parts of the school, of my school, of a real school, is that you have now friends, companions with the same real aim. For example, I had an airplane, I had a nice motorcycle in Colorado. So I went to the flying club, the motorcycle club, to make friends. But these people can only talk about that one thing because that's all they're consumed with. There's no value and depth. So I was never friends with any of them, okay? So to get a real friend, you have to have a real chief aim in common, a real value, sincere. So so that's what the school is, to give the people that kind of friendship so that you can, go for dinner and talk about something more entertaining, but, you can talk about, wow, yeah, I saw this manipulation or that manipulation. Yeah, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And not just Facebook friends. Yeah. Okay, what else? You could have a dinner, take turns at each one's house, that one prepares for everyone, something like that. So you say, okay, for the next 9 weeks, we'll take turns. And I'll cook for everyone, you'll cook for everyone, you'll cook for everyone. So it works out. You cook for 9, but you get 9 free meals, or 8 free meals. So, yeah. But, things like that you do, and then see how things go. Yep. It's okay?
Yeah.
Scratch myself too much. Itchy. What else?
I have a question. So when people say trust the timing, is it something that is true or?
That's law of accident. Trust the timing, sit back and wait. And you're not being a very good neutralizing force or active or passive. You're just going to be there waiting for other things to happen. So the law of accident will just give you something whenever it gives it to you. So do you want to be a sheep or a lion? Lions don't wait. Trust the timing. No, they go hunt. I'm hungry, I'm going hunting. I'm not going to sit and wait for an antelope to walk in front of me, right? So trust the timing? No, absolutely not. You make things happen.
But sometimes, okay, I don't know if it's true or not, you become hungry,
Yeah.
then you quickly get something and like waiting but not really waiting, maybe there's something better coming. You get?
Yeah. So you go for what you want, and if something better comes, change direction, go for the better. But don't, okay, you have to be careful, like everything happens for a reason, trust the timing. Are they excuses for you to sit back and do nothing? That's the test.
No, it's about, am I pushing too hard? You know, those moments you say, like the way you say you have to be in the moment, you relax, but the relaxed triggers you feel like you're not doing anything to get what you want. So the balance,
Yeah.
is there a balance?
Of course, there's always a balance. You're 4 months pregnant and you want the baby today. Okay, that does not work well. No. So yeah, everything has a balance, but you have to be careful not to use anything as an excuse to sit back and wait for the law of accident to bring whatever happens happen. Okay? That's the thing. Now, if I tell you, sit, be patient, so then I go and take it before you get it. All right? Which is often the case. Okay? So you've got to be careful. Like I say, the test is am I leaving the law of accident to rule me, or am I being the neutralizing force to become active, to make happen what I want to happen? But yeah, I don't accept any of the modern thoughts. No, they're all there to keep you weak and let somebody else walk all over you. Yeah. So just see. But then, like I said, you can't pull the baby out after 4 months. So you've got to decide, what do I do now? Yeah. So that would be the which one? Okay. That would be the body mind versus the wisdom mind. Okay. So the body mind says, ooh, I don't want to get fatter and be pregnant for 9 months. I want to take it out. But the body has no wisdom. Wisdom is, I'm sorry, you have to endure. Be patient. Okay? So, ego is, I want to show everyone I'm smarter than everyone else, so let me move quicker. All right? Even if it's too soon. So you have to look at every situation and you have to say, is it just a physical thing that's making me want to go quicker? Or is it the natural body being lazy to conserve energy? So I'm being lazy to make me wait? And what is the right choice from a wisdom, objective point of view, that should I wait, others will take it from me, I'll miss the opportunity, or I'm rushing too soon, I pick the fruit while it's still green and not ripe. Every situation is unique. So any saying that you put in every situation is bad. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I have a question. In regard to the law of attraction, magnet, sorry.
The magnet, yeah.
The law of magnet. Is it okay for one to is it okay for me to give myself timelines? Like, let's say I have this goal, then set a time for it. Is it okay for that?
Very good. Goal, timer frames, deadlines, very good. Because that's like the lion chasing you. Basically, the lion is chasing you, and if you can get over that line, then there's the electric fence and the lion can't catch you. So you have a timeline. I've got to get to the electric fence before the lion catches me. So that encourages you to run even faster because you have hope. Whereas if you're running through the savannah, you know the lion's eventually going to get you. So you won't really run your fastest because you know it's hopeless. No matter how fast you run, the lion will get you. But if you have a deadline, then that's the line. If I pass it, I'll be safe. Achieve my goal. So deadlines are very good. Yes?
Does it mean the shorter the time they put in, the more magnetic?
No, it has to be, yes, but it has to be reasonable and feasible. That's the other thing, law of attraction. Any goal has to be reasonable and feasible. I want to be a dollar billionaire by next summer, and I'm just going to be praying to get the money. Okay? No. All right? But I want to make $2 million by next year, and my trading method on the stock market, I can achieve that. I have enough capital to start that if I use my method and I work very hard every day, yes, I can make $2 million in a year, for example. So that's reasonable and feasible. But if I say I want $20 million in a year, no, that's not. Okay? So your time frames have to also be reasonable and feasible. So every goal, reasonable and feasible, but don't make it too soft.
But supposing you're putting in the effort, the everything, and then you have this timeline, and then it gets there, you've not achieved, but you feel like you're almost there. Is it okay to extend and...
You have no choice.
Okay, so will I keep decreasing the timelines for it to be...
What, but that would mean the same event. You're like running a race and you want to run faster every time to run the 1 kilometer or what?
So you have to increase something.
Well,
You have to do it differently.
Well, the first thing is if I have a goal and I don't achieve the goal in the time, the first thing you do is say, where did I fail? Did I make a mistake? Did I waste time with active laziness, waste money, whatever it is? Or was my mistake that I wasn't realistic about the time it would take to do it? Because people who say, okay, I've got this job, I need to make a quotation, I think it'll take me 10 hours, so I quote for 10 hours of work. But then it takes 20 hours of time. So where's the failure? I misquoted. Or I should say I miscalculated, right? So the first thing is, where did I go wrong? Now that I find where I went wrong, let me make a new goal, reevaluate the goal, and then reset the targets and the timeline because I know where I went wrong, okay? So yeah, if it's 10 hours to achieve it and it's now 12 and I'm at the 10 and I say, well, I'm almost there, it'll take 2 more hours, good, now my goal is a total of 12 and I achieve it, so next time I know I need to set it for 12. Make sense?
Yeah, I get. Just curious. Supposing all factors constant, everything is going on as I've planned. No wastage of time, no wastage of energy. Everything is just okay. And then I'll put this timeline. So how much time do I need to exit, to keep exiting until I get to this goal?
That's like, how long is a piece
Should
of
I
string?
double it, or should I keep increasing, you know?
It depends on the situation.
Oh.
I mean, you have to take every situation on your own. I mean, each one individually. There's no standards. In life, there are no standard rules. Everything changes every moment. Remember, does the dog have a Buddha nature? Yes. No. Depends on who's asking and what the situation is. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Don't ever live by this is it. There's no this is the way to do it. Anybody who says this is the way, you always do it like this, is misleading you. You will fail eventually. Right? So it's like one guy was talking about the stock market, and he said, when this happens, it always works this way, except when it doesn't. Okay? So that's life. That's why we must never have this is the way to always do it. Yes, it is, and then change it if you need to. Yeah.
I have a question. It's not a question. Explain what this is that happens to me. Often, when I desire something, we call it the law of magnetism or something like that. When I sleep and say, or when I want to be a singer, I end up in the same week or same day, I meet someone who produces music. If I say I want something, it happens, I meet someone in that specific line of something that I want. So is it that I get things easy, or I identify, or I can discern this is something that I wanted? I'm trying to understand what that happens, because it happens a lot. Today say I
Yeah.
want something, I meet someone in that line.
So it just proves what I say. If you're determined to get something and you're focused enough on it and you're hungry enough, it'll come to you.
But I'm not in a nature of want, hunger. I just desire. I just say I want it.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. Desire, wanting, it's saying, I want. That's what the magnetic center is about. I want this. And so, for whatever reason, your mind is good enough, or the things you want are easy enough, and what you want, you get. But just keep going. Don't understand it beyond that. My mind is very powerful. I am striking the match with the flint end. Okay? I'm using what I've got. And I just keep using it. That's all. Don't doubt it. Yeah. Don't doubt it. Yeah, if I want, I get. Yeah. Be happy. Be happy you're lucky that you can do that. Yeah.
I think I can relate to what she's saying. So is it something about the universe? I mean,
No, it's
there,
you.
there are times for me, most of the times I usually tell myself, or when I'm speaking, they say speak life. I say I need a sign. I need a sign, I need a sign. So I can give an example. So yesterday, I knew today I'd come for the session. So like, if someone wears yellow today, that is my sign to go for it. And we've never met.
Uh-huh.
Actually, today's her first time coming. And so is it the power of your tongue?
Yeah.
The way she says it, and apparently she attracts those things.
Okay. There's electricity, energy everywhere, right? Air. Okay. So when there's the speed of sound and the speed of light, right? Very different speeds. Okay. So there's thunder. You see lightning, and then it's quiet, and then you hear thunder, right? But they both happened at the same time, right? The lightning caused the thunder. Okay. So everything is traveling through space, and if your mind is strong enough, it will travel, and people are easily influenced. Basically, I don't always talk about that, but you're nothing more than controlled by the law of accident because of exactly that. If your thoughts are strong enough, that thought goes out and it finds who's most weakest or susceptible to that thought. Like, for example, these three don't own anything yellow. So that thought won't even reach them. But she likes yellow. So it's easy for that thought to reach her and make her choose the yellow dress, right? So it's basically, what are your main desires? How strong is your mind? How easy is it for you to get what I want you to do? So all our thoughts, the stronger your thought, yes, it goes through the energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it. But when you see the light or you hear the sound, how do you explain you see or hear it? How is it traveling to your five senses, to your eyes or your ears? It's traveling, right? Somehow, through air, whatever. So it's the same with our thoughts. You think, that goes out. And it looks for the fulfillment of what that thought is. And if they don't own yellow, then it cannot reach them. It's pointless because they can't fulfill that thought. So the thought keeps looking for someone who can fulfill it, and then it'll come back to you. And that all depends on how strong your thought is. If your thought is a random thought, won't do anything. If your thought is really with emotion, remember, thought needs emotion to make it real. Real passion, real desire, or real fear. I mean, any emotion, good ones or bad ones. Fear, love, hate, anger, whatever it is. So if your thought is strong enough, then it will find somebody that it manipulates. Like, for example, you remember the big building I sold. So I met that guy, the buyer, because I went to find a store for rent for a tenant who wanted to rent a store. And to drive through Montreal traffic, you can spend 1 hour in the car to walk 15 minutes. Like, you could walk it in 15 minutes, but the traffic is so bad, it could take you 1 hour if you're in the car. And then finding a parking spot, forget it, in downtown Montreal. Okay. So my determination to sell that big building, somehow, if I look at the backwards dominoes, got another broker in the office to have a client wanting to rent a store in a particular building, and it's too small for him to bother with for only $6,000 commission. So he said, okay, you're new, you need jobs, you need projects, so here, do this, go find the owner. So I drove through the city and found one empty parking spot right in front of the building that we needed to find the store for rent. The miracle of that, just to find that parking spot. And then I get out of the car, I go in the building which is under renovation at the perfect timing that the owner is going to the toilet as I walk in. And I ask this man, I don't know who he is. I said, do you know where the rental office is? He says, yes, I'm the owner. I'm going to the toilet. Go in the office. I'll talk to you when I get back. All right, the amazing timing. And that's the man I said, do you want to buy something big? And sold him the big building. All right. So my burning desire to sell that building made him need a pee at that moment that I was walking in, made somebody leave the parking spot without anybody else seeing that parking spot before me, and so on, so on, so on. Okay? So yes, our thoughts make people do things, and that means you're doing things based on somebody's thoughts. That's why I don't talk about it too much, because it's a little bit scary. Okay? But you need to know, and that's why I put it in the way of manipulation. When I talk about how we're manipulated and how all these laws work, you are all manipulated. Me too. All of us are constantly being manipulated, and the question of who wins is simply whose mind is stronger. Is your mind stronger than that thought which is looking for its vehicle to make that happen? Okay? So if you have exactly the qualities that the owner of the company looking for someone to fill that job, did you attract the job, or were you brought to it because of the desire of the owner looking for a person with exactly your qualities to fill that job? Right? We don't always know. It could be either way, but we need to be aware that we're always being manipulated because there's somebody thoughts making us do things. That's why when you walk by the coffee shop, you all of a sudden want coffee. Because the owner wants to sell coffee and he's making it so that your thoughts are, ooh, now I want. Right? So that's why we need to understand how weak we are so we become stronger, so that you can have the desire for coffee, but say, aha, this is an identification to the event of seeing it. I know the owner wants me to buy it, so I will say no at this moment. Okay? Yeah.
That's true what people say. I read it in some book some time back. When you want something, the universe conspires for you to have it.
Only if your magnetic center and your minds are strong enough. Yes, no, the universe isn't conspiring. The universe obeys. That's why it's a law of accident. because
Typically, that guy was wrong. The other for that book, or it depends on how you see the.
but didn't he sell a lot of books and make a lot of money?
I think so.
So he was right. He achieved his magnetic center because he said people like things easy. They like to feel special. So by saying the universe conspires to give you what you want means you're so important that the universe will do whatever you want and you don't have to do anything about it. You can be lazy. And so of course it doesn't work, so you buy his second book, which tells you how to do it better. Okay? So no, the gods, the universe, the angels, whatever you want to believe in, they are our servants in a sense that if our mind is strong enough, it can command things to happen. That's why the magnetic center and the chief aim is so important. And in that doing is what you're saying. You can make her wear yellow. Yep, because your mind is strong enough.
A lot is because you want something like today. If I see someone wearing blue, your mind will always be, I will do this and this before the day ends. Don't you think maybe you are looking for that now? There's an excuse to want to do that. You will always see someone wearing that color that day.
Because you're looking for it.
Yes.
Sure, that can happen also. But I don't think she's looking for a yellow dress.
It's usually, okay, it's not just a yellow. For me, it was more mustard than yellow. Actually, I was fingers crossed because I know she has a mustard sweater. So I told myself that if she wears it, it's not her. It has to be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You were hoping for something if I wrote something.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't. I wasn't channeling it to you because I know you have something yellow. You say I don't know her.
Okay.
So for me, her having that yellow more or less gives me a confirmation for whatever it is that I want because I don't know her. And like,
Yeah.
now I know you have a yellow sweater. So if you wore that yellow, then
Exactly.
I'm not so sure about that answer.
And you didn't pick black or white, which are extremely common.
Exactly.
You see? If you say black or white, there's a pretty good chance someone's going to wear it. Yeah. You pick something bizarre. Yeah. That's it. Basically, everything is vibrating. You know when you throw the rock in the water, all the ripples go out? Okay. Everything is vibrating. Your thoughts, other people's thoughts. So we are inundated by millions, billions of thoughts. So whose mind is stronger? Basically, who is more awake? And like you saw in the three natures, the differences are, minute, but could be a difference. So whose is stronger? Thoughts are constantly out there influencing you. You're influencing others. And yes, we are all manipulated. You do not have any free will unless you develop it. You've got to develop it. So, yeah. But yes, we're making people do things and we are being made to do things or not do things, right? Yeah, so take that very seriously. You have a tremendous power. You just don't know how to use it. So either it's not happening or it happens randomly. So now we have to realize, oh, this is actually real. Now I have to develop myself through the exercises that I teach you. I'll send you the book, the exercise book also. And so you have lots of exercises to do. I mean, you can't do all of them. You don't have enough time in your life. But you'll pick some and you develop the stronger mind so that you get more control over other people's thoughts. Like, for example, if it's a matter of saying, what time will we meet? Or how much will you sell that for? I don't know if I know what they're going to say or I make them say what I think. But I will always have that number, and that is the number the other person will say.
And do you believe in angel numbers?
Angel numbers? What angel numbers?
Like 11, 11,
No, I have no evidence to prove that to be real. All I know is that I so often look at the clock and it says 9/11 or 11/11. Okay, so what? That's the thing, so what? And like I said, everything has to be logical and proven. I have no evidence or experience to give any reason or usefulness about that. Yeah. But I mean, if you believe in it, then you'll, like she said, if you think there'll be a blue shirt, you'll start to see blue shirts, right? So, yeah. So only believe in what you've proven. Remember the truth of knowledge, the truth of understanding. Remember that, right? We only go with truth. Where is the truth? Here we go. Okay? We only go with the level of truth. Everything else, knowledge and vision, we say, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. That sounds good. But what's the truth? Okay?
I've never thought about it, but now this discussion is bringing up something to my mind. Almost all of us know that Kenyans are really, really bad with time. And I'm very, no, a lot of Kenyans, in my experience, in the business I've been in, a lot of people are bad with time. They don't keep time. So it's always, I've set an appointment with someone. I'm going to provide a service at the place where they stay, and I tell them I'll be there at 7 a.m. And I don't know if they think it's just a suggestion or a joke, but somehow I will be there at 7 a.m. or like 2 minutes to 7. And there were always people constantly asking me, have you tuned it into like an art where you know exactly how much time it will take you to get here? And it's not the same distance I cover. I could be going somewhere an hour away or somewhere 3 minutes away, but somehow I'm always going to be there right on time or like just a few minutes before. So I didn't actually think about it before this discussion, but now I'm seeing that maybe because I always purpose to arrive at that time, somehow I always arrive at the time I said I would arrive. Which is, I've never actually thought about it, but it's becoming very clear to me that I'm not really doing that, am I? I'm not sure, but somehow it just happens that I will be there at the time I said I will be. So even if they're not ready, and I have caught a lot of people unawares, because we said 9 a.m. and I showed up at exactly 9 a.m. and they're like, did you time this? How did you know? Considering Nairobi and the traffic, I use public transport, so there could be a traffic jam, there could be an accident, but somehow, despite it all, I will make it on time. And I've never thought about it, but maybe I wanted it badly enough that I influenced some forces to make it happen.
Well, I'm the same. I can pick any time, 3:37, and I can cross a country, and I will arrive at 3:37. So this is what we see. Our thought. You care. All you do is you care about being on time. That's enough. You really care about being on time. It matters to you. Like for me, if I say I'll be there, it matters to me. I'm there because being on time is respecting the other person. So it matters to me. So therefore, the universe conspires to make things happen. Yeah. Yeah. Start to look for these things which prove thought is real. And it can manipulate the mutato driver and the traffic and all these, because think of how many people had to be manipulated to get in your way so you're not too early and get out of your way so you're not late. How much has to be, but it works, or it happens, I should say. Yeah. Anybody who drives, think of when you're going somewhere before you go, or when you're still far away. Think, okay, I'm getting there. I want a parking spot, a free, legal parking spot right in front of where I'm going, ready when I get there. And you do that, you're going to freak out because it works. I did it in Manhattan. Manhattan is like impossible. I've done it in many big cities around the world. I just say, I want a parking spot as soon as I arrive, and it's there. Okay? So how many people had to conspire, because not only did whoever was there had to leave as I arrived, but it had to be timed, the traffic, the events, everything, so I arrived just when that person leaves, right? And it works. So the more things you do like this, the more faith you should have that there is just a reality, and my thought will make things happen. So when you say the universe conspires, it means that the universe is bigger than you. It's conspiring to do, right? But the reality is we're more powerful than the universe. Our mind is more powerful than anything in the material universe and can make anything happen. It all depends on, do you develop your mind that well? It's up to you to develop the mind to have that strength, just like any muscle. You want big muscles? You work. Okay? So your mind is a muscle. And your faith is the power, but it cannot be blind faith, and it cannot be faith that is not backed up with action. You must take action to develop your being so that your mind is more powerful than the universe and all other humans, so that what you want will happen and everybody else will be doing what you need. Now, the danger is, make sure you don't use or abuse or hurt anyone with that power. Which is why we don't have that power, because then we'd all be Hitler. But if you develop yourself enough, then you be Gandhi. You know the Hitler and Gandhi? You know? Do you know who they were? You're looking kind of blank. Sorry?
I'm blank.
You don't know Hitler or Gandhi, huh?
I know them.
Okay, personally? Like you met them? Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, in New Zealand, New Zealanders didn't know who Hitler was. They'd never heard of Hitler. And I'm going back 20 years ago. They should have, but they didn't. So I don't know. Anyway, the power in the wrong hands, with ego, with selfish desires, is destructive, is dangerous. In the good hands, which is very hard to develop your mind to become that good, is good. So that's why we're kept ignorant of our power. And that's why when I teach people to gain that power, you first have to go through all the other training to make sure that when you get that power, it will be used good and not bad. Okay? So, yeah, you can have it, but make sure you're worthy and safe. You don't give a 6-year-old a machine gun, right? So, yeah. But, yeah, you can make anything happen. You can control anybody and make them do whatever you want. That is absolutely possible.
So manipulation in this case is not all bad.
No, even when I said it, you manipulate your child to take medicine by tricking them and putting it in a spoonful of honey, right? You have to be manipulated. Everyone needs to be manipulated because their broken machine will make them choose selfish, weak, lazy actions. So realize you need to be manipulated. Now, knowing that you can be manipulated and you need to be manipulated and that your mind is more powerful than the universe, you now have to develop the wisdom mind, it's turned off, the wisdom mind to manipulate the ego mind and the body mind so you do what you know is necessary to achieve the chief aim for your life. Okay? That's why we need to see we're fragmented and broken into many, many pieces so that we can use the wisdom parts to control the weaker parts. But if you think you're one singular whole, you cannot manipulate yourself and therefore you will never achieve any goal. But by knowing you are many parts, you can selectively use the right one to manipulate the weaker one to achieve the goal. I mean, that's why I lived my life, is to prove we can do anything. And I told you, I rebuilt my fortune. This is the 14th time. We can endure anything. We can do anything. It's all a question of what your goal is. So, yeah, realize that the power of your mind, but you have to develop it in logical ways. Mm-hmm.